Is a pistol caliber carbine secretly the better choice over a full rifle? Today we're diving deep into the truth about PCCs, the good, the bad, and the ballistic. There's one major reason why you might want a PCC over an AR-15. What is a PCC? Let's define it first. A pistol caliber carbine is a shoulder-fired firearm, chambered in a handgun round, usually 9mm. Think CZ Scorpion, Ruger PC carbine, HK-SP5, or AR-9 platform. The idea? You get the compact, controllable characteristics of a carbine with the lower recoil and cost of pistol ammo. Pros of PCCs. All right, let's start with what PCCs do right. Low recoil. PCCs are flat shooters. Low recoil means faster follow-ups, tighter groups, and easier training for new shooters. Ammo is cheaper. 9mm is usually 40 to 50% cheaper than .223 or .556. That means more bang for your buck, literally. It works well indoors, less concussive, and less blast. Quieter suppressed. Subsonic 9mm and suppressor equals whisper quiet fun. It's way easier to suppress a PCC than a rifle. Plus, you don't get the supersonic crack of rifle rounds. Easier for new shooters. Fewer bad habits, less intimidation. Home defense friendly. It's compact, maneuverable, and good for tight hallways. USPSA and two-gun friendly. PCCs have a whole competition category of their own. Shared ammo and mags. Many PCCs take pistol mags, specifically Glock. This means you can carry one magazine with the same ammo and use it in your handgun and your pistol caliber carbine. Cons of PCCs. Now, the downsides. Poor ballistics past 100 yards. You're limited by the round itself. At 50 to 100 yards, a PCC can shine. Past that, not so much. 9mm drops fast, and energy delivery pales compared to rifles. Some blowback systems run very dirty, and they beat up your lower. Reliability can be hit or miss. Some PCCs, especially blowback ones, can be finicky. AR-9s can have issues with bolt hold open and feeding depending on mag and lower compatibility. Heavier than handguns. You're basically carrying a full-size gun, but without the rifle-level terminal performance. Some folks argue that if you're going to go big, you may as well just get a rifle. PCC versus rifle, head-to-head. All right, let's do a use case breakdown. For home defense, PCCs are generally quieter and have smaller blast signatures. Rifles have more power and better penetration. Training and plinking, PCCs are cheaper with lower recoil in most cases. Rifles have a much longer range. In competition, PCCs and rifles each have their own divisions. Suppressed use, PCCs suppress very well. Some rifles require more tuning, and rifle calibers are more difficult to suppress since they travel at much higher velocities. In hunting, PCCs are equivalent to hunting with a pistol. Can it be done? Yes. Should it? That's a matter of opinion. Now, on the other hand, this is where rifles really shine. SHTF, PCCs have the advantage of using the same ammo as your handgun, as well as the same mags in some cases. But rifles are more versatile in terms of range and engagement types. Range and drop-off. Now, here's where things really fall apart for PCCs. Range and trajectory. Shooting a PCC beyond 100 yards is as effective as throwing a rock. At 50 yards, a PCC drops about 1 inch. 5.56 rifles drop roughly half an inch. At 100 yards, the PCC drops 4 to 6 inches. Rifle, just 1.5 inches. Now, out to 200 yards, the PCC drops an insane 20 to 30 inches, while the 5.56 rifle is just 7 to 8 inches. 9mm drops off fast after 100 yards, and it loses energy just as quickly. At 200 yards, 9mm is barely hitting harder than a .22 long range. 5.56 though, still lethal, still accurate, still screaming. So which do you choose? It depends, but I'll say this. If you're already running a 9mm carry gun, a PCC that takes the same mags makes a killer combo. Maintenance and reliability. Some PCCs are blowback, meaning dirty, gassy, and harsh on internals. You'll be cleaning them more often. Others like the SIG MPX use gas operation. They're smoother and cleaner, but also much more expensive. Now, in my experience, there are some tried and true PCCs that are reliable. Others I've had issues with cycling, magazine compatibility, and ammo pickiness. Legal considerations. Quick legal note. PCCs with short barrels and braces might count as SBRs or short-barreled rifles, depending on where you live. The ATF has been all over this, so always check your local federal laws before building or buying. Range drills for PCCs. Now here's a few quick drills that we did to show why PCCs are fun and practical. First, we did the build drill at 10 yards. You fire 6 rounds as fast as you can. And next, we did a transition drill. 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Reload, 2 on the right, 2 on the left. With the low recoil and fast handling, you'll be shocked how fast you can run a PCC. Optic recommendations. Best optic for a PCC. Now, I recommend a micro red dot. They're lightweight and fast. Second would be a prism sight. Why? Because you have an etched reticle, so even if the battery dies, you can still use it. Either way, I always try and run backup iron sights. Avoid LPVOs unless you're reaching way out, which doesn't make logical sense to do with PCCs due to the previously mentioned poor ballistics beyond 100 yards. Use case breakdown. All right, let's break it down by situation. For home defense, PCCs win slightly due to maneuverability and less overpenetration and less recoil. Range fun, PCCs. They're cheap, easy, and fast. Vehicle defense, PCCs. They're compact and mobile. Hunting, rifle. More power and distance. SHTF in combat, rifle. Better ballistics and versatility. Cost comparison. All right, let's talk money. PCCs have a reputation for being more affordable, but is that really true? The base gun of a PCC or rifle are in a similar range, anywhere from $500 to about $1,600. And many of these categories can be $3,000 plus. So cost between PCCs and rifles, it's a wash. Ammunition, PCC ammo, which are pistol calibers, average 25 cents up to 35 or 40 cents per round. Rifles average 40 cents to over $1 per round. They use the same optics, so that's not really a consideration. The magazines also tend to be in about the same range, anywhere from $12 to $60. Many pistol caliber carbines are designed to accept Glock magazines, which can also lower the cost. PCCs tend to have more limited parts and upgrades compared to popular rifles like the AR-15 and AR-10. So yeah, PCCs can be cheaper, especially with ammo cost. But if you buy higher-end PCCs like the $3,000 HK SP5, for example, the upfront cost can be huge. Final thoughts. So is a PCC better than a rifle? Well, that depends on your needs. Pistol caliber carbines aren't replacing rifles, but they're not trying to. They fill their own niche, low recoil, budget-friendly, suppressor-ready joy machines. And for the right person, they might just be the perfect home defense tool, especially in situations where physical limitations like shaking or weakness make shooting a pistol accurately very difficult. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you run a PCC? What do you use it for? Watch these other videos to keep on learning, and I'll see you on the next one.